have faith, have morals, have ethics in business, in your personal life, with your family, whatever you're putting out. Those things need to come first. God, whatever your spiritual belief is, but be a good person in your heart. Your heart needs to come first. Have faith, morals, and ethics. When you do business with people, do business with them the right way. Don't have them have to chase you down for your money. Be happy to give them money because you'll be rewarded that much more. Go for treasures and currency in heaven, not earth.
Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence. Welcome to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. Today, we have an epic guest. This guy is a legend in his own state. He's a legend in his own city. And I want to welcome today the one and only Mr. Eric Zuley. How you doing, my brother, this afternoon?
Hey, Daniel, I'm good, man. How you doing? I'm doing as good as you can be with, I say all lives matter because I don't really see color in myself except for the color red, which is your heart, which everybody has in their body. But, besides all the craziness and the coronavirus and stuff, and, my condolences goes out to all the people that are dealing with it. I'm doing actually pretty good. Our business is going well. My family's good. My girl's good. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I had the pleasure of getting to know Eric several months back, last year, actually, almost already a year ago. And Eric hosts some epic events up there in California and Hollywood. He actually has an amazing award ceremony that he does. And that's what I love about him. So, Edward, I love my guests to introduce themselves. So tell us a little bit about you. That way the viewing audience on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show can know who you are, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that, Daniel. I mean, a little bit about me personally. I love to snowboard. I play billiards. I have helped a lot of charity. I started out playing video games and strategy games and Zelda and StarCraft. Who remembers Zelda and StarCraft? I mean, who didn't play those games, I'm an entrepreneur and I call myself a heartpreneur, a preacher-tainer. Going into the business, you guys can see behind me, you can go to eZWay.com. We created a really interesting social media directory of celebrities and nonprofit professionals and speakers and sports figures and so on and so forth. And we have a television network. We have about 500 something channels we can cross promote on. We reach millions. We help to build channels on Roku, Apple, and Amazon. I've had a show for a long time. I've been a host. I've had numerous awards and been on ABC and lots of, major media that you guys might recognize. And I was published as one of the top 10 social media influencers in the world by some bloggers. And then that kind of grew up, that kind of exploded and built YouTube channels that now today has like 14 million something views. And we've been helping a lot of people, and actually probably, not necessarily in that order because there's actually an order to it, but we're, a branding company. We help people find their attractor factor and we actually build it around them, as well as the, build an influence effect around them. Hence my new book coming out on, June 24th.
Awesome. And something caught my attention with what you just said. And I think a lot of not just speakers, but just businesses in general, entrepreneurs, whether you're a brick and mortar or a small business, I think many people just drop the ball, Eric, when it comes to branding. I think you heard that B word, right? You said the B word, it caught my attention. And I'll never forget when I first started, I don't know why, but God just put it in my heart to come out with a logo. And people were like, why do you want a logo? You're just going to be a speaker. I'm like, because I think I need a brand. I mean, you need to, just can't be, you got to put an association with who you are. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, that's one of the best decisions I ever did was to get a logo going. Tell us one of the biggest mistakes you see just in business in general that people make as far as branding goes that they don't do, Eric.
Well, I think one of the biggest mistakes, if you start from the beginning, is not properly branding, not properly designing your image. And if you don't know what you're doing, then hire someone that does. Don't try to do it yourself because you're just going to give yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of headache trying to get to that brand. I mean, you see behind me a brand, you see my hat. I mean, we do a lot of branding, but it took 5, 6, 7 years to get to this brand. You're always going to go to each phase of your branding. And really the biggest mistake is not hiring the best and most professional and really investing the proper money in it the first time. And you end up losing because you don't invest properly the first time. Branding is all about graphic design and brand identity. and your team. And so you got to have the right graphic designers, the right editors, the right copywriters, the business side of things, the having your brand trademarked and copywritten, all that comes into play. So I would say that the worst thing you can do is not have the team around you to brand properly, because it's going to end up costing you a lot more money in the long run.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think too many people try to be a one-man show, and I don't care how great you are or how successful you see somebody be, there's always a winning team behind them. I think of Conor McGregor. He just had one of his biggest fights, came back, and he wouldn't have won without Tony Robbins, right? Tony Robbins was his mental coach, his whatever coach he branded him as, but it takes a team to win championships, to win big time. And I think I have a saying when I do my corporate trainings is shortcuts equal short paychecks. I think too many people take shortcuts, and at the end of the day, it just equals a short paycheck.
And it ends up costing you a lot more money too to fix it.
Yeah. You said it took about 7 years or so to get your eZWay brand going.
Yeah, I mean, you can look on Google, and it's kind of fun to watch the process of the growth. But when we first started, we had all capitals, eZWay. And if I remember correctly, I think like the top of the A or the W or something, there was an actual antenna that looked like a TV antenna. And we trademarked that originally. And like we were all stoked on it. I don't know if you guys can see my screen or not, but I can show you what I'm talking about. But if you guys are listening on audio, you probably can't see the screen. So basically, the color scheme, I mean, just the colors. I mean, I think we started out with red and green or something like that. And then, then we kept going. But see, branding, it usually has a story or a message or a reason behind it. When we say eZWay, people go eZWay. Well, what's that? Well, easy is me, Eric Zuley. That's my name, Eric Zuley. And then I do it my way, and I don't care what you have to say. And I've built my empire off of following that motto. So eZWay comes together. So in a sense, I don't need to be there. I have hundreds of thousands of people pushing me, and my face doesn't need to be there. eZWay is me, But then eZWay became a massive empire in its own brand, its own lifespan, and now it's supporting so many other people. It's representing the Wall of Fame. It's representing the TV and all these different divisions and entity. And then you have brand integration. I mean, I can go in, honestly, Daniel, I could literally go into speaking mode and go into training mode and branding, but I know we don't have enough time.
No, I love it, man. It's good stuff. So let me ask you this. So you talked about you've changed your brand, your logo several times. Where along your journey did, because I love to share wisdom and give golden nuggets away. So right now, when you're listening to this on the podcast right now, whether you're on iTunes or Spotify or on iHeartRadio, do me a favor, get your pen and paper, because there's something magical that happens when you put pen and paper. So take notes about this time. So Eric, in that 7-year journey to get your brand to where it is today, at what point did you lose your confidence, and what did you do to regain it?
Oh, you're going after the speed bumps and challenges. That's a good angle. By the way, shout out to my boy Corey. He's one of the top executives. He's the top executive pretty much for Spotify. You mentioned the whole Spotify thing, and the obstacles, man, I've had a lot of obstacles. I mean, I almost died, when I was 13 years old, and my artery was severed in my arm. I think my dad getting lymphoma cancer stage 4 was a pretty big obstacle in my life. I have had a lot of haters, a lot of people that have acted like they believed in me, but really they just wanted to absorb my database. There's a lot of obstacles that have come along, but I think the whole time, Daniel, we kept our faith. I kept my faith. I know I did. I kept my faith. Is when you go through certain experiences in your life, it creates that faith. And I think that faith comes from experiences. And going through what I've gone through with my dad and myself, those were real big obstacles. Financial, obviously, would be a huge obstacle. And luckily, my dad believed in me and invested in me in the beginning. You need financials to get to and from. I went back and forth from Orange County, where I lived, all the way to Hollywood, literally every day, lack of sleep. Because, what people don't realize is content is king. And if you don't resource and leverage and post that content the right way and in the right timing, you lose a lot of SEO traffic. You lose a lot of value. And so what I used to do is I would actually drive from Orange County to Hollywood and get an interview, get content, drive back to Orange County, stay up all night, do the editing, do the tagging, do the meta tagging, do the description, do all the stuff with the YouTube to make sure that we got it out with a big email blast. And that would go from like 8 at night to like 4 in the morning. I'd go to sleep at like 4 in the morning, wake back up at 7, 8 in the morning. And I went out on 4 hours sleep, and I did that for a real long time. Then I learned that wasn't the healthiest thing to do. So that would be an obstacle, is lack of knowledge. And so I can go on and on about obstacles, but I would say people should really do their research on the internet and make sure that they don't have to go through the same obstacles I went through.
So let me ask you this. What's one thing that you did to overcome these obstacles, right? At one point, there was a point in your journey where you lost that confidence, that eZWay confidence.
No, there never was. Like I said, it's all about faith. I've always had belief and trust in my dream. And I always known that my goal, I always envisioned and had no doubt of where I was going. I remember when I was, 15 and 16 is when I really started hitting this hard. And I remember going to my dad's room and I was like, I'm going to be like a Dick Clark. I'm going to be like a Byron Allen. I'm going to have an empire. I'm going to help people. Like I remember literally saying that and being at the foot of his bed. And I called it. I put it out in the universe, and I worked really, 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 really hard, really, really hard for it. So I can't answer that one, Daniel, because there really wasn't a time where I lost confidence. There's been times where I've had, those times where it was really hard and I came close to thinking of losing my confidence. Or it's just like faith. I have a lot of faith in God and Jesus, and you'll never have me lose my faith. But I've had my questions. Hey, God, why did this happen? Why did that happen? I've done this with these people. How come this is happening to me? But that's where real faith comes in. There's real faith and there's faith. And I've always had real faith and real trust in my company and my brand and my dream. And it's never lacked.
Well, I love that. I love that what you're saying, because you're saying that with a lot of boldness. So for the viewing audience, right, for the listening audience right now, tell us, what is real faith to Eric Zuley? Because right now, our nation needs it. Right now,
yep.
I think a lot of people don't have faith, much less real faith, Eric. And I really want you to give us your definition, because I think even if we help one person with this show today, that I think we've done our good deed for the day. So give us your definition of that real faith, if you don't mind.
Oh, for sure. Well, I think real faith comes from real experiences, and you're going to go through those real hard times, those experiences in your life that make you have that real faith. Like mine was almost dying when I was 13, and my artery was severed. I went through a window and I had a piece of glass go inside of my artery, and I was losing so much blood. I was a kid. I had the ambulance driver literally, you get scared and you want to ask questions because you don't know what's going on. And I was like, this is pretty bad. My arm's like covered in red. I'm like, am I going to die? Like, I don't know what's going on. He's like, man, I don't know if you're going to make it. And then I went into shock. And my story, read my book. My story is incredible on what happened and how I feel like I met God and my spiritual encounter, but as far as you guys out there listening, as far as the world, my suggestion as far as faith goes is really do those things that put you in a position to be forced to have faith. You know what I mean? Help people go through situations most people that may have had a near-death experience, or have had those situations happen in their life that have those really strong faith, share your story, share those situations with others to get them to believe, to all the speakers out there, the more that you be vulnerable. I can share my story all day long because I think that the only reason I'm at where I'm at and the only reason I have some of the biggest people in the world that are supporting us and they're on my wall is because of the faith, is because of the spiritual side. I think that people see something different. I have people asking me all the time, Daniel, how do I have, people like Frank Shanker's the creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, or Sharon Lecter with Rich Dad Poor Dad, or even Jeff Hoffman, or even celebrities like Kristanna Loken, the star of Terminator 3, and all these people supporting me. And I think it's because of my faith, because of my reason for what I'm doing. And I constantly, when I speak, when I'm on an interview like this, I speak what I believe. And I think if other people aren't afraid and they really speak about what they've gone through and they really share their story and they inspire other people, that'll be a domino effect. And we need more domino effects. You know what I mean? We need a lot of domino effects to start hitting more and more people. And in social media land, all you got to do is press a share button. You can reach 1,000 reaches 10,000, 10,000 reaches 100,000, 100,000 reaches 1,000,000. And if more people press the share button on the right positive content, screw all this stupid media and all this bad, just negative media.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, don't press the share button on that crap. Excuse my French, but press the share button on positive news. That's one of the reasons we created eZWay Network. eZWay Network is PG-14 positive programming, and we're giving everybody the opportunity to put positive programming out and put their message out there. But you'll never find that negative stuff on there. You'll never find, and this is just my opinion, but I think that money controls a lot of media, and I think that a lot of media is not real media. It's made up media because it's the agenda of what they want you to really follow. And you need to really be your own person,
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I was just talking to somebody about that. And we were talking about, isn't it ironic how quick the coronavirus left the media, and all of a sudden we're talking about riots from one day to the next. And now you turn on the TV and all you see is protests. And just a couple of days ago, everybody was scared about the coronavirus, and it's because the media controls what we see.
Yeah, well, Daniel, I don't want to get into conspiracy theory, but I do a lot of research on things, a lot of research. And I just would say all this to I would say this to the listeners: look at the timing of how all this has happened. It's literally back to back to back to back. I mean, literally not even a couple of days, maximum a week. All of a sudden, this thing happens with this George situation after the coronavirus, like literally back to back. The timing is, then, and beforehand, if you really look at the movies and stuff, they're coming out with movies called Pandemic and called, Confined, or whatever these movies are called, before the coronavirus even happens. I mean, just really do your research. You know what I mean? There's something going on here. I respect anybody's point of view or beliefs or whatever, but there's obviously something going on. And there's a lot of situations and entities that want power, and, money is power. And so they want that power. And so, like I said, anybody that's listening, I would recommend you really do your own research and don't listen to the media. Do your research and get factual evidence on what is being said, and if the facts check out, then great. But don't do something or listen to something or be afraid of something because the media is telling you to.
Yeah, I think too many people believe everything they see and hear. And I think that's the biggest mistake that we can make as human beings. You can't believe everything you see. You can't believe everything you hear, because a lot of it is just, like you said, they're in control of it. And actually, if people were just to turn off the TV, their lives would be a lot more positive, Eric. And that's all of us. I stopped watching the news here probably like 5 or 6 years ago. That was probably one of the best things I ever did, was not watch the news. And it just enlightens you, because all that negativity, because I can't remember the percentage, but I think over 50% of the news is actually negative news. You got your sports, you got some weather, but the rest of it is pretty much just negative.
I got to give props to InfoWars and a couple of them that actually put some real information out there. And it's one of the reasons we created our app and the Wall of Fame, Daniel, is we put out news of you. Once you create and get a registered account, I mean, you're a Wall of Famer,
Yes.
And we're constantly promoting you. How many views have you gotten on your profile? How many people have notified you? How many people have you connected with? But we're looking at your news and your shows and your stuff, and we're just an empowerment vehicle to push that news out there and independence. And it's just something else. It's a breath of fresh air versus all this negative news, and we have some cool shows and some cool content. And I'm so very glad that God has been behind us to grow us to the capacity we're at.
Yeah, I love that. So let's shift a little bit. I think there's a lot of us that want to do good, that want to have the dream like the Eric Zuleys, and want to build that empire and really influence people, and just to be that positive, create that positive vibe, that positive world. But they have a problem being consistent. Mm-hmm. Why do you think many people, they have a problem finding that consistency within themselves? Because if you're not consistent, your business ain't going to be consistent. So say something to that type of listener right now that really is looking at, man, I want to do this, but they do something for a month and then they quit, or they do something for a day and then they quit, and they don't have that consistency. Because you and I both know that consistency is key to success. Speak on that if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I would say to that, Daniel, is have a goal, have a dream, have a plan of what you're wanting to reach, have a why you want to reach that goal that's specific to you, and make it a game. I make it a game, man. I have fun. I love it when I get a message from a fan or a supporter and saying, oh my God, I just met somebody, or oh this, or I learned this, or thank you, Eric, I just saw your live, or whatever. And so I want to see how many people's lives I can inspire, or I can inflict support in some capacity every day. And I want to keep increasing that number. If it's 1, awesome. If it's 2, even better. 3, even better. 5, yeah, 10, and just keep increasing that, keep building that. But set your goals and stick to your goals, and set your path. Focus on those goal paths, but if you make it a game, you make it fun. Make business fun. I can't wait to wake up every day and look at my wall and see what's happening with my Wall of Famers, and see what's happening with my community, and listen to the stories. And we put we always look for our eZWay fam spotlight, and we look for some awesome story to put out on our blog or whatever. And I can't wait to hear that next story. And then when it gets really fun, Daniel, is when that eZWay family member or community member is helping somebody else. And so you now know that you've really made a dent, because it's not just one person. One person learned from us, learned something and then helped 5 other people. And then those 5 people helps and that one message. So figure out how you can really make a difference, but make it a game, make it fun. Figure out how you can make it fun to make a difference.
And yeah, that's huge. Write that down, everybody who's listening to this podcast. You got to have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to stick with it. And I think what comes to mind, Eric, with that is I think somebody heard this on a podcast somewhere, and then somebody else said it. And I think the biggest lie that entrepreneurs have believed is you got to rise and grind. That's a bunch of baloney, because that doesn't sound like any fun. Who wants to grind all day? I mean, come on, think about it, right? I'd rather rise and have fun, right? I'd rather say you're saying and say, hey, let's rise and have fun instead of rise and grind. If you grind every day, all day, you're going to burn yourself out. And next thing you know, I've known so many entrepreneurs that have taken that approach. And next thing you know, 6 months into it, they have an anxiety attack.
Yeah, I would agree to an extent that rise and grind is good. I would say more like rise and shine, and do what you got to do to make yourself shine as well as others. And like I said, make that game to figure out how you can create that shine, make that shine brighter and brighter. But grinding is a big part of it as well. I have grinded like coffees mixed with beans, or, I'm trying to think of a cool metaphor to go with the grind. But showing you how much I've grinded, I've lack of sleep, my brain's not functioning here. But the grind part is a really important piece. So, I've had my health issues. I've sat for 14 hours, a day for years and years, 10 years and I'm now experiencing at age 38 problems with my blood flow and things like that because of it. But luckily I have a beautiful girlfriend who's a doctor, and then I have amazing people and God that comes and sends me, like I always think of like, what is it? Hunger Games movie. And not that I like that death and slaughter or whatever, but I always look at that parachute. I look at life like I need my parachute. God, shoot me my parachute. You get a little deep, beep, beep,
yeah.
And then you're finding your parachute, then you're ready to go again. And so, grinding is very important. And you have to like I was just talking to a company today, and we were talking about how we're both young. We're both in our 30s, and it's all about grinding. It's all about hitting. It's all about hustling. You got to hit it. And the people that want it more are going to be more successful. But yes, you have that balance as you're grinding. So you can rise and grind, but have balance as you're doing it, and then find that shine. I would say rise and grind with balance, then find the shine.
Well, I just think this one touch of God's favor is better than a lifetime of labor.
There you go.
I've known that to be true in my life.
I like that one.
And I say that because when God comes in, and I speak for my own career, that I've gotten where I'm at because God's favor. And
Amen.
He's shown me that. And it's like I see people, and not that by myself, but not by my doing, but by God's grace, that have been in the business a lot longer. And I see where He's brought me to. And it's because it's like I truly believe that with one touch of His favor, He'll elevate you to another level, because it's always easier with His help, with His grace, with His abundance.
Well, let me touch on that topic right there. God's favor. You have to, I almost lost my train of thought. Come on, Lord, bring it back. You have to recognize God's favor. Okay. You have to use the gifts that God gives you to elevate His flock and do things that He wants. And His favor is going to continue, and it's going to elevate. It's going to escalate. You know what I mean? So those of you guys that are listening right now, find your gifts that you were given. And it's a matter of what you do with those gifts. And sometimes people don't even recognize their gifts. So maybe take some time and meditate and really think, if you don't know your gift, everybody's been given a gift. And then the power, Daniel, is when you take everybody and the gifts that God gave them and you create unity with all of those different gifts into one. Then you're talking about some real favor.
Man, I love your language. And audience, if you're not catching this, I want you to just hear his perspective, where he's coming from. What Eric is saying is, in a nutshell so far, is you got to think above yourself. And I know Eric Zuley, and Eric thinks above himself. He always reaches out to me, other people. I know he does that. And he thinks of, like, look at the word he said right now, unity. And if your cause isn't bigger than you, then you're never going to succeed. But if you have a cause that pulls you and encourages you to help and serve, because that's what you're saying, Eric, right? Serve people, help people, unity. When you do those things, it comes back to you 100-fold.
Yes, serve first. And I wouldn't say you're not gonna make it unless you have a cause, but are you gonna be happy as you're making it without a cause? And it's something I had to learn, Daniel. I've had a lot of situations happen in my life, and I was a little bit more selfish. I wanted to be a star. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. I've had a lot of situations happen, and I noticed that a lot more doors And a lot more things started happening after. I mean, I don't want to say I'm happy that my dad almost died. I want to say I'm happy I'm almost died, but I'm happy that that was God's plan to shift my mindset to bring me in the direction that I'm in today. So, my message ultimately to anybody listening would be, find God's plan for you. Find gifts that you were given and do everything that you possibly can, especially right now with what we're dealing with, to unify all those gifts. And it's just sad. It's really sad what's happening.
Yeah, no. So let me ask you this. What are some of Eric Zuley's convictions? What does Eric Zuley stand for?
Unity would be one. Inspiration, marketing, social media, branding, promotions. I mean, I would say, it's hard to answer that yourself. I would say let my eZWay family answer that. I would say I stand for unity and community.
I like that. Unity and community. Okay. So why is unity important to you?
Well, because there's strength in it. Without it, you can't really make a whole lot of things happen. The reason eZWay's really been able to be as strong as it is now today is because all of the eZWay family unified. Everybody started coming together. Everybody started helping each other. Everybody started picking each other up, and you'll notice that a lot of posts on our groups and what we have is usually picking somebody else up. In fact, Daniel, we came up with a really interesting patent pending situation to get people to unify and get people to support one another. You want to hear it?
Tell me.
So we have what's called eZWay coins, eZWay currency, service currency. We have a way that people can actually earn marketing currency. We can put them on TV, radio, magazines, consulting, put them on stages, get them books, covers of magazines, PR, you name it, we can do it, right? And this can be anywhere from $1,500 to $1 million, honestly, if you're talking about a campaign or services. I mean, so we created our service currency where people can actually buy those services, not only from us, but from our affiliates and other people on the wall through earning eZWay services, eZWay dollars, eZWay currency by showing that unity, by sharing one another, by supporting one another, by rating one another, and supporting one another as a community. So I would say we stand for unity and community. That's a good answer.
I love that. That's good stuff, man. So what makes Eric Zuley distinctive?
My gold jacket, man. That's too bad.
Boom, baby. Woo!
But I would say, Daniel, what makes
I love that. Hey, by the way, next time I go to Cali, I need to borrow that jacket, man. I love it. That's like $1 million jacket right there. I need to post a clip on this one on
shout out
YouTube.
To our designer, MHC Collection, Michelle. She custom designed this for me. Shout out to my beautiful girlfriend who had a helping hand in convincing some people to get some things moving. So what I would say, what differentiates, really makes us stand out, Daniel, is God and the ray of glow that you can see, not only from us, but all of the flock, all the people that we have grown. We're a faith-based and family-oriented community and network. And if you look at our brand, and this is, again, going to branding, going to the original conversation we were talking about, the definition behind your brand is everything. And a lot of people don't really know this because they don't ask, but I think that I need to say it on this show, is our brand is God. Our brand is gold for a reason. The pearly gates are gold. The golden fleece is gold. We created our own movement of a golden carpet. So if you want to walk on the red carpet, hey, go for it. More power to you. But we have another option for you, which is the golden carpet.
I want to tell you, I dig that. I like
Thank
that.
you. And actually, I'll tell you, Daniel, when we did our awards in 2000, was it 18 or 19? Do you remember when the eZWay awards were? I think it was 18.
I saw the one from last year.
I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but anyway, whenever we had it, we had the golden carpet and people were saying comments like, man, I'm just digging the vibe and the feeling on this. Everybody's just got, a purity to them. Even the media were saying it. And so it's just a comfortable, and there's a lot of history. Again, do your facts, do your research. And I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to get too deep on your show, but there's a lot of research behind the red carpet. That's all I'm going to say. Do your research behind the red carpet. And so we created the golden carpet, and everything we do has that kind of a gold feel to it. And it differentiates us because we have God behind us. I am nothing but a vessel. Most of my people on my wall, most of my people on my team are vessels. And we just wait to see what we're supposed to do next. And every time we find somebody that's done something great, we got our little cowbell. We go, yay, all right, we're happy. We make sure we point that out. But yeah, I would say that the fact that we're very family oriented and we're very spiritual, and our gold brand really has a standout above a lot of the others.
So as we come here towards the end of the show, tell us a little bit about, because this whole season of these last, we'll just say 90 days, and I think California is still kind of in that quarantine lockdown. What has not the eZWay family, but what has Eric Zuley taken away as a life lesson through this whole COVID season that we're still in and coming out of in some areas?
That's a good question. Well, one thing I'll say is anybody that's listening right now, and I'm not trying to promote my app, but I'm saying this for a reason. That exact question is going to go along with some blogs and some news posts and some things that we're going to do to try to make a difference. And we encourage everybody to download our eZWay family app on your Google Play. We just got approved by Google today. Woohoo! Your Google Play store or your Apple store. And I think that, like I said, going back into research and knowing the facts, Eric Zuley, me, myself, I do a lot of research and I do a lot of interviews with people. I try to learn a lot. I have my own beliefs. I try not to be too political. I try to be mutual on everything. But I think that people just need to do their own research. And I would be that voice. Eric Zuley would be that speaker, that preacher-tainer. By the way, guys, you see me speak sometime. I'm awesome. Everybody says, when I say I'm awesome, because I preach, but I don't really preach. It seems like preaching, but it's more like entertainment. I dance, I rap, I freestyle, and I give away really cool stuff. I put people out there when I do it. But to answer that, Daniel, I think they should really follow me if you don't mind. They go to eZWaywall.com, letter E, letter Z, WAY, WALL.com. And
so during this whole thing, apart from the eZWay family, what has Eric Zuley, the human being, what have you learned? Like, what have you really maybe something you took for granted, maybe something that, hey, wow, I didn't realize that, wow, this kind of stings because I can't do this. I haven't done it for 3 months. You know what I mean? So just something that really kind of, you'd never thought about it, but now that we've been in this lockdown, this quarantine that you miss, or you say, man, I need to be more appreciative of what?
I learned about the media. You need to do your research. I learned that a lot of people are puppets. No offense to anybody, but don't be a puppet, be a leader, and learn to do your facts and your research, so you can be a leader. I learned that actually, believe it or not, a lot of businesses, Daniel, can make money and turn this negative situation into a positive. You can go from brick and mortar, like I did for my stage, to broadcast. And I actually have made more money and have had more success being in lockdown and being in my house than I have going to events and spending gas and spending money on parking and having stress and getting on planes and whatever. I learned that I could literally create a business in the comfort of my own home and be very, very successful and teach others how to do the same. And I learned that as I grow, and I've learned from this, that people need to, for one, don't look at color. There's no reason to look at color besides red, someone's heart, colorblind, because everybody's just God's creatures, everybody's, whatever your faith is. I keep saying God, and I respect everybody's faith, but,
I'm cool with God. It doesn't offend me. I like when you say that. I think we got to be, but right now, more people are praying than ever before. So by all means, if God touches your heart to say the word God, say it.
I do. And I say it with I want to be as proud as possible of God. But at the same time, if you worship Buddha or whatever it is, again, it's your heart. It's the color of your heart. Are you a good person or are you not? And I think that a lot of people, if they did their research, a lot of this wouldn't be what it is, because the media is going to do what they're going to brainwash you. They're going to NLP you, and they're going to do what they need to do to make sure that you are doing what they want you to do. Okay. And there's a lot of entities that actually own the media. If you do your research, and, I own what I say, and I'm behind what I say. And I think that I've learned to put a message out there to a lot of people that you can be your own media. Honestly, Daniel, if we had everybody become their own media, if every single person were their own live stream, their own podcast, their own media, that's one of the reasons we have our network, is we want people to be their own media and have their own voice and have their followers follow them, and most of the followers that follow mainstream media could be following independent media, and be putting out, better content, I think. But the biggest thing I've learned is what I said, and what I've said the whole time from the show, is unity. And I think that I'm a vessel, and I want to promote that as much as possible and do everything we can to get people to be guided down the right path and guided down the path of light, not darkness.
I love that, man. Be guided down the path of light, not darkness. So as we come to the end, give us a word of wisdom that if somebody right now needs a word of encouragement, needs some hope. Maybe they're feeling hopeless. I truly believe as our country comes out of this season that we're in right now, there's going to be I call it the hangover of hopelessness, the hangover of fear. It's going to kind of like the Great Depression. We came out of the Great Depression and we had that scarcity mindset. As we come out of this, we're going to have that hopelessness, that hangover of fear. What's a quote that's carried you and that you would want to share, and give us that word of wisdom if you don't mind?
Well, I mean, that was like 3 questions in one, so I'm going to do my best to answer.
Hey, you're doing awesome, man. I'll tell you, I'm having a lot of fun with you. And I was serious about borrowing your jacket. I love that.
I appreciate it, brother. Well, my dad taught me, there's a lot of things in life, but without faith, morals, and ethics, everything's a waste of time. And so I would say have faith, have morals, have ethics in business, in your personal life, with your family, whatever you're putting out. Those things need to come first. God, whatever your spiritual belief is, but be a good person in your heart. Your heart needs to come first. Have faith, morals, and ethics. When you do business with people, do business with them the right way. Don't have them have to chase you down for your money. Be happy to give them money because you'll be rewarded that much more. Go for treasures and currency in heaven, not earth. That's just more on a spiritual perspective. On a business perspective, I would say make sure that you're positioning yourself to have your research be validatable. Make sure that your brand and what people are researching checks out. Your stature, your clout is right. Most people, when they do business with you, they're going to research on Google, and whatever comes out, that's going to be you could be the best salesperson in the world. You have the best presentations, the best packages, the best website. But if I research you and I don't like what I research, I'm not going to I'm not going to do the deal with you. So that's one of the things we help. If you guys need help with it or whatever, but make sure that your research checks out. It's all about your online, your research. So that would be on a business perspective. So spiritual, business, and a health perspective. Don't be like me, guys. I overdid it a little bit. Make sure that you're getting up when you're working on the laptop. Make sure you're getting up. In fact, Alexa, are you there? Okay. So you hear Alexa? She keeps me alive. Get yourself an Alexa. Get yourself a personal assistant. Mark your phone. Everybody has a smartphone. Use our app. Make sure that you put yourself on a schedule and don't overdo it. Your eyes when you're watching this computer screen or the phone, don't overdo it. That's one thing I had to learn, unfortunately, the hard way. And that's why you see me wearing glasses. I get paid to wear these actually, but they're also glasses to help me with the whole, active matrix screen and the way that the blue screen is and all that stuff. And I've had headaches and problems, whatever. So just don't overdo it and be cognizant upon what you're doing when you're working. Definitely get your grind on to get your shine on, but don't forget the balance.
Boom, baby. Those are words of wisdom right there from the one and only Eric Zuley. So Eric, if people want to get a hold of you and find you, where can they get a hold of you, or what's your website that you want to send our listening audience to? That way they can learn more about you and just kind of follow you, man.
Oh, thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. Well, if you really want to get a hold of eZWay and what I talked about today, you can text the word eZWay, letter E, letter Z, WAY, where it says message in your message box. And then where it says 2, where you put your phone number, you text the number 55678. So you text eZWay to 55678. And then that'll get you involved in a lot of what we do in our notifications and whatever. We have a lot of fun, Daniel. And I just want to throw this out there. If you want to get on stages, which most of your audience probably do, we are doing so many virtual stages now, not only for ourselves, but for multiple clients. We have over 500 clients. And we're going to do so many stages and put people out there in so many different ways. So text eZWay to 55678. Our app, we're going to actually be putting the app into that text, but we have an app that you can download on Apple or Android. But if you're interested in on the web and getting a hold of us, eZWayinfo.com. That takes you to my website, ericzuley.com. If you're interested in me for coaching and stuff, and multiple people in multiple situations, it's everything rolled into one. It's a link tree. So eZWay, letter E, letter Z, WAY, info.com.
Boom, baby. There you go, man. The one and only Eric Zuley, all the way from Hollywood, California. I love this guy. He's genuine. He's
let me say this about you, Daniel. I got to promote you a little bit, man. They got to go to eZWayWall.com and search. Click on members and search Daniel. He's killing it on the wall, and go rate him. He needs some ratings, man. He needs some stars. He needs some comments. He needs some love. Yeah.
Yeah. Just go to Daniel Gomez on the eZWay wall. Yes, definitely. Please. So, hey, man, you've been awesome, Eric. And audience, thank you for just being here with us on the show. That's a wrap for today's show. We'll see you again next week.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.